Greetings. Shout out to all of you wonderful, wonderful deep divers. Shout out to everyone who's here. Everybody who's diving deep. Let me say a shout out to everyone who's here. Like I always say, we always start with gratitude, deep divers. Today I'm saying thank you to Gaia. Thank you to the universe, because like I always say, life is good. And once again, shout out to everyone who's been getting the #1 best-selling book, Feel Alive by Ralph Smart, on Amazon, and at ralphsmart.com/the book, The Bible of Becoming Your Greatest Version. Also, go and check out the all new limited design clothes at ralphsmart.com/clothes and spreadshirt.com if you're in America. And we're doing the fashion show in Miami. If you feel you have what it takes, make sure you DM me on Instagram at official Ralph Smart. Also, go and check out the latest book, The Secret Recipe to Becoming Your Greatest Version. Go and check out that book. The Book of 1111 Infinite Quotes. You're going to want to check it out, by Ralph Smart. The journey begins. So, shout out to everybody who's here. Everybody who's diving deep. So we're going to get it started, deep divers, right? We're going to get it started. Let's raise the frequency. Shout out to everybody who's here. Peace, Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Shout out to everyone who's here. So I hope you're taking care of yourself, deep divers. I hope you're really raising the frequency. I hope you're raising the vibration. And we got so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Once again, Tina Turner, legend of a singer, passed away. Condolences go out to her family. We're going to talk about Tina Turner. We're going to talk about the next pandemic is knocking on your door, Tedros, right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the great shift. You better be ready for it. Like I say, deep divers, this is an interactive live podcast. So you can interact. You can ask a question. Every super chat will be displayed on the screen. So like I say, let's always start with gratitude. Gratitude every single day. How you feeling today, deep divers? How you feeling today, deep divers? Shout out to everyone who's here. Everybody who's diving deep. Can we turn up, deep divers? Can we do that? Can we do that, deep divers? Can we start off with some high frequency? Can we start off with some super high frequency? Because that's how we always start the show. So this tune I'm about to play you is going to be crazy. 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 Are you ready for it, deep divers? If you're ready, just say I'm ready. If you're ready, just say I'm ready, Ralph. I was born ready. If you're ready, just say I'm ready. Because this is all for the retro, the 80s babies. The 80s babies. If you're an 80s babies, just say, yeah, Ralph, I want to hear it. Just say, yeah, Ralph, I want to hear it. Because we always start off with good energy. We always start off with good energy, deep divers. We don't play around. Oh, no. We don't play around, deep divers. We don't play around. So like I say, let's raise the frequency. This, after you listen to this, your frequency is going to be raised. Check this out. Oh yes. Oh yes. Shout out to everyone who's here. Like I say, deep divers, always starting off the show with good frequencies, good vibrations. And like I say, gratitude is how we always start the show off. Gratitude is how we always start the show. What are you grateful for today, deep divers? What are you thankful for today? Let me start. I'm so thankful that I'm still here, inspiring millions of people, helping people become their greatest version. I'm so thankful that I get to connect with amazing people every single day. What are you thankful for? Did you say thank you? Gratitude is the greatest way to raise your frequency. Gratitude is the best way to raise your vibration. Start with gratitude. Start with gratitude. So let's start with this topic, Tina Turner. I just heard the news, so I was quite shocked. 83 passed away. And, Tina Turner was a true legend, true amazing singer. I remember listening to Tina Turner and she was singing Goldeneye, right? Probably one of the best Bond songs, right? And, Tina Turner, a true legend, Proud Mary, Rolling on a River. These are great songs by Tina Turner. Also, What's Love Got to Do with It? What's Love Got to Do with It? So I always say, there's a reason why singers are very important. Someone like Tina Turner, there's a reason why her music inspired a lot of people, but not just Tina Turner. Any artist has tremendous power. Any artist is someone who really has the power to change the whole world. And this is the reason why artists get paid so much money. This is the reason why artists are revered and can influence so many people. Politicians might influence a few people, Artists, on the other hand, can influence 500 million people at once, 1 billion people at once. People like Michael Jackson, right? The most famous man in the planet at one time. And this is the power of an artist. And Tina Turner, when I would see her sing, I'm like, she's different. Tina Turner is different because she sings with so much passion, so much soul, so much soul. Kelly Cladwell, you are appreciated. I appreciate that. Like I say, deep divers, hit that super chat. Let's start with gratitude. Thank you, Ralph, for your inspiration. I wouldn't be where I am today if that was not for you. I appreciate you. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. Like I say, gratitude, deep divers, gratitude. We must always start with gratitude. Hit that super chat, hit that like button. Like I say, I don't go live a lot, but when I do, show gratitude. So, a true icon, a true musical icon, Tina Turner. And we must always remind ourselves that anytime you listen to an artist like Tina Turner, she's a real artist. She's a real artist. I'm a producer, so I know, right? I play the guitar, play the piano. Tina Turner was a real artist, a real musician. And they don't make them like that anymore, right? They don't make them like Tina Turner anymore. So you have to realize that before Beyonce, before Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, all of these people, The Weeknd, you had real legends like Michael Jackson, Prince, Tina Turner. All of these people are really the originals, the queen of rock and roll. And you have to pay homage. You know, I'm not listening to Tina Turner every single day, but when I do, I definitely know without a doubt, she's a musical legend, right? Musical legend. And this is why I always tell you, if you're an artist, you have tremendous power to change everything. If you use your music as a force of good, you can move mountains. If you use your music as a force of upliftment, great things can happen. And that's what Tina did. You know, like I always say, it's rare to find artists like that these days. It's rare. You know, you got people like Beyonce, all of these people, a great singer as well, Beyonce. But even Beyonce will tell you, Aretha Franklin is the OG. So that's why I always say, if you're an artist, you got to pay homage to the artists who came before you. And shout out to everyone who's here. Like I said, we're just starting the show off with this. Rec Law M, you are most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. You're most definitely appreciated. So when we remind ourselves the role of the artist, you know, I always tell you that people can talk, but what is in 3 minutes of a song is more powerful than a presidential speech. And this is the reason why artists like Selena Gomez, Beyonce, Ariana Grande, all of these artists hold a lot of power. Tina Turner, right? Tina Turner, Shirley Bassey. They hold a lot of power. Bad Bunny, Drake, Tupac Shakur, Nas, Paul McCartney. I'm just giving you these artists. Even Queen, you know, they hold a lot of power because people like Tina Turner, they're in the same category as Queen. You know, Tina Turner is in the same category as Michael Jackson, same category as Prince, same category as Aretha Franklin. These singers, they only come around once in a blue moon. Star Phoenix, you're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. Get a Don DeMarco right about now. Right? They only come around once in a blue moon. And you have to really realize that you are also an artist. And you have to make sure you're creating something positive, putting out something positive into the world. Because like I say, when you hear people like Tina Turner sing, you realize she's not just singing for the money. She's really got that soul in her voice. I was just listening to her live show. I'm like, gosh, she really can. She's a really great performer, right? Great performer, great stage presence. So it's always great to see artists like this who are really legends in the game, OGs in the game, you know. So I have to give props where props are due, because once again, a very powerful singer. Anita Baker, another legend. Anita Baker, Diana Ross. Diana Ross is one of them as well. Diana Ross, another OG in the game. Like I say, deep divers, I know my music history. Diana Ross is another one of them, right? Anita Baker. Tina Turner, though, phenomenal singer, and she will be missed, most definitely. Sakamoto, you're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. I was hoping you'd go live today, and you did. Thank you. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you, Sakamoto. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. And like I say, deep divers, I'm just starting off with this because I just heard the news. And you see, we got to always remind ourselves to celebrate people's lives, you know. When someone passes away, you want to celebrate their life. You want to celebrate her music. You want to do that because that's what it's all about. You know, this is only a time of celebration. This is only a time of celebration. Celebrate the life of someone, the music she made. And that's what it's always about, right? So, you know, shout out to Tina Turner. Condolences to her family. And like I said, deep divers, remind yourself, the artist holds tremendous power. We are all artists. Everyone is creating art in their own way. But you see, people like Tina Turner, if you know her history with her abusive husband, she still managed somehow, some way to come through stronger. And that's a great lesson for all of us. Being in a horrible relationship, coming out of it and still coming out on top, that's phenomenal. But you have to also remind yourself, you are an artist, and what you do can also move mountains. What you do can also influence people in a great way, a powerful way, right? So, you know, we have to just start with that. Shout out to everyone who's here, deep divers. What else are we going to talk about? The next pandemic is knocking on your door. Now, deep divers, I heard this. If you don't know, there's a World Health Assembly in Geneva right now. This is very important stuff. You know, this is where the World Health Organization come together and, you know, they talk about things. They talk about, you know, a lot of important things which you want to be paying attention to. And I came across Tedros, who is really the chair of the World Health Organization, saying some very interesting things which you should really be aware of. He's talking about how the next pandemic is inevitable and is coming. And this is something which you have to be aware of. You know, a lot of strange things have been happening over the last few years, right? And I can really dive into it. But like I say, I don't know if you're ready, deep divers. I don't know if you're ready, right? Right now, we're just doing a little samba. But if you're ready to dive deep, just say, Ralph, we're ready. Once again, deep divers, share this video, hit that super chat, hit that like button. And like I say, gratitude always wins, right? So if you're ready for me to dive deep, just say, Ralph, let's dive deep. Right? I don't know if you're ready to dive deep, right? Because I know a lot of you have just, you know, eaten something. Shout out to everyone who's here, everyone who's diving deep, right? everyone who's diving deep. So, deep divers, the next pandemic is knocking on the door. Let me just tell you this. There's nothing to be afraid of, but you have to also realize that a lot of things have been happening over the last few years. And you've got to remind yourself that during that whole time of COVID and all of that stuff, I was still speaking, standing up for humanity's freedoms, and I'm still here. It's only through the universe's grace. A lot of people didn't make it. People, friends and family didn't make it, So we've got to remind ourselves that it's not over, because we're living in the times of the great changes. We're living in the times of big changes, right? And I'm going to talk about the shift later on. But there were a few doctors speaking out. There were a few doctors really speaking out. And those were the brave doctors. Those were the brave doctors, right? When that whole COVID came, there were a few doctors who were really speaking out. Can you name one of them? Put some names in the chat. Shout out to everyone who's here. Like I say, deep divers, hit that super chat, hit that like button, hit that super chat, hit that like button. We got a lot to talk about. And in this live podcast, deep divers, I'm taking your questions. We can talk about anything and everything that's on your mind. I'm reading every single super chat. Will be displayed on the screen. Y'all so bam, Ben Yisrael, you are appreciated. Shout out to you. You are most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. How do I control anger towards other people? I despise being in social settings, and I can read funky energy, attitudes, and screw faces instantly, and I get infuriated by off-putting people. That's a great question. You have to really realize that you have to prepare yourself to calm down every single day. You have to prepare yourself to not react. This is how to really control anger. You have to learn how to not react. Take a deep breath, get some fresh air, put things in perspective. And this is really going to help you. Also, ask yourself, is this the kind of person I want to be? Who do you really want to be in your perfect state? Be that person. That was a Don DeMarco right there. Right? Shout out to everyone who's here. Right? So there were a few people speaking out, brave doctors, and during that time, mind you, I'm a deep diver. So when I talk about things, I'm talking from a very holistic perspective. I'm not just talking about what's going on out there. I'm talking about what's happening in your subconscious mind. I'm a psychologist. I'm a criminologist. I'm a healer. And I'm a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. So while everyone is focusing out there, I'm also focusing on actually what's going on inside me. That's why I always tell you, focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. But there were a few people who were talking out. One of them was a doctor by the name of Rashid Buttar, if that's the name. Rashid Buttar. He just passed away, but he was a doctor which I saw him on Fox News. He was kind of coming out, talking about all of the lockdowns and all of those things. And he just passed away, but he was getting ready to do a health conference, so all of these things, you always have to put a question mark. But he was somebody who was very, he was a doctor, you know, and a lot of the things he was saying, he had a big audience. Have you heard of him, Deep Divers? I don't even know if you've heard of him. That's the thing. I don't know how really plugged in a lot of you are, because I'm doing videos on so many different topics. Have you heard of Dr. Rashid Buttar? Have any of you heard of this doctor? I know a lot of you might have, probably not. Some of you have. But he was someone who was very vocal. And, you know, I just heard he passed away. So I found that very strange because apparently he was getting ready to do a health conference. But not only him, there have been a lot of other doctors who have really, you know, giving people an alternative perspective about everything. So shout out to all of those doctors who are in search of the truth, because that's what science is all about. You see, science is non-biased. Science only seeks the truth. And when we talk of becoming your greatest version, you must only seek the truth. You must only seek the truth. Right? Let me shout out to Jersey Bob. You are appreciated. Where in this realm do you reside? Shout out to you. I'm everywhere. Slow motion. Shout out to you, Jersey Bob. You're most definitely appreciated. So let me play you this clip by Tedros, Deep Divers, and you can hear what he's saying, because this is important. This was just in the conference 2 days ago. And he's talking about how the next pandemic is knocking on the door. This is not me saying it. This is Tedros saying it. So let's listen to what he has to say. You let me know what you think.
The end of COVID-19 as a global health emergency is not the end of COVID as a global health threat. Earlier this month, the Secretariat published the 4th edition of the Global Strategic Preparedness and Response Plan for COVID-19, which outlines critical actions for countries in 5 core areas. The threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains. And the threat of another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains. And pandemics are far from the only threat we face. In a world of overlapping and converging crises, an effective architecture for health emergency preparedness and response must address emergencies of all kinds. This year's high-level meeting on pandemic preparedness and response is a valuable opportunity for leaders to chart a clear path forward towards that future. We cannot kick this can down the road. If we do not make the changes that must be made, then who will? And if we do not make them now, and when? When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively, collectively, and equitably.
So you just heard it right there. When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will. So they're telling you. So like I said, you have to pay attention. That whole conference was 3 hours long. I just cut up that bit. But these are the things which a lot of people don't even know what the hell is going on. A lot of people don't even realize there's a whole conference over 3 hours. And that's being said, right? So, you know, it forces everyone to raise their eyebrows. He just said, when the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will. So you have to remind yourself that this is a time where you really want to prepare yourself for what's coming, because it's coming. And you have to be getting ready for it. You see, last time, a lot of people, their business went bust because a lot of people had so much investments in the matrix. I told you, this is the time when you want to be going off grid. Banking systems collapsing. Credit Suisse collapsing. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Banks in Turkey, Lebanon, Nigeria, all banks all around the world are collapsing. It's because these are the signs of the times where you want to be preparing yourself for what's coming. You want to be saying, hey, let me invest in silver. Let me invest in gold. Let me invest in the natural resources I need to go to the next level. Because if you're like, hey, my matrix job is going to take care of me, when there's another pandemic, you're going to be stuck because they're going to lock down the whole planet. You're not going to have anywhere to go. Right. And that's why I told you right now, you want to learn how to grow your own fruits and vegetables, get a plot of land. And that's the thing. A lot of people say, Ralph, I can't get a plot of land, but you can rent a plot of land. Right. It's not hard to do. Doesn't matter where you are. Shout out to everyone who's here. How you feeling, deep divers? Oh yeah. Mark Moley, you're appreciated. Shout out to you. What percentage of the world population will make it to the new earth? That's a great question. Let me just tell you like this. It's gonna be a tiny percent. But this was written already. You know, in all texts, they talk about how my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Even in the Bible, they talk about the 144,000. In ancient Kemet or Egypt, even in the Emerald tablets, they talk about how, and the Enuma Elish, they talk about only a few. Many are called, few are chosen. Let me repeat that. Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. And this is the reason why not everyone is going to make it, because not everyone can go. Not everyone is going to be able to raise their frequency high enough to get to the new earth. You know, when we talk of the new earth, we're talking about the fifth dimension. We're talking about a frequency so high that if you are in a state of fear, you can't come in. That's a slow motion. That's what the fifth dimension is all about. We're talking about a frequency so high that if you're in a state of fear, you won't be let in. Go and watch my video, the Human Emotional Vibrational Chart. The Human Emotional Vibrational Chart. Go and watch that video. And it's going to show you the hurt frequencies of the emotions. I told you. Shame is the lowest emotion. It's 20 hertz. Then you have guilt. That's 30 hertz. Then you have apathy, right? That's 50 hertz. Then you have grief. Then you have fear. These are all low frequencies and low vibrations, right? And to raise the frequency, you have to be operating on love, which is the 500 hertz frequency. And the peace, that's the 600 hertz. And the enlightenment, that's the 700 hertz plus. And that's the only way you can get into the new earth, because if you're not in that love frequency, it's going to be impossible. And that's the reason why I told you, make sure you're vibrating on a love frequency every single day. You know, so many things are happening right now on the planet, and you have to be ready for what's coming, because it's coming. And you have to make sure you're ready for it. You know, I know that with everything, it's always this way, right? It's always a chosen few. It's always been that way. The reason why is because the masses, the pyramid is symbolic of ascension. And the higher you go, the smaller the ratio. And when you remind yourself of this, everything begins to make sense. At the base, you have the masses. In ancient Rome, are you not entertained? They would give the masses bread and circuses. This is where that whole phrase from Russell Crowe's The Gladiator came from. Are you not entertained? That's what the gladiators would say in Rome. Are you not entertained to the masses? Are you not entertained? Because you see, the only way the masses could be stimulated is through entertainment. They could not be stimulated through knowledge. The ones who had the knowledge controlled everybody. And the only way the masses could be stimulated was by entertainment. So the gladiators were the entertainment. And they didn't realize they were also being programmed, controlled, and brainwashed. And that's always the case. You always have the masses. And the masses, unfortunately, are the sheep who blindly follow. And that's not going to change anytime soon. So you always have around 90% who are sheep and 10% who are waking up. It's a 90-10. In fact, I do believe it's probably 80-20, right? Giving the world the benefit of the doubt, because I operate on Pareto's law, right? Pareto's law is the 80-20, right? So I would say 80% are not going to make it, 20% will. But when you remind yourself it's only ever going to take 1% of a population to change the entire collective. So that's 8 million people. 8 million people. That's a great question. Shout out to everyone who's here. Mark, you got us diving deep. We ain't even had breakfast yet. Preston Gainey in the house. Shout out to you. You are appreciated. Shout out to you. Preston Gainey, shout out to you. I was wondering how you deal with people insulting you and disrespecting you. I've been bullied a lot in my life, and I constantly think about people who insulted me. That's a great question. You know, you got to remind yourself every single day that people will say things to you. People will always do this. And it's up to you to really remind yourself that you have to be stronger than their words. You know, that whole saying, sticks and stones won't break my bones, right? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? That whole saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. No, words actually hurt more than sticks and stones. Words actually hurt more than sticks and stones. But you have to remind yourself it's never personal. This is the reason why when you're dealing with insults, when people say, hey, I don't like you, you're this, you're that, it's never about you so much as it's about them, what they're going through. Sometimes people are in a bad mood. They talk to you. They just need someone to offload on. Unfortunately, you're in their way. You're an innocent bystander. And you have to remind yourself to not take it personally, but to remind yourself that they need a hug. Right? They need some milk, right? They need some milk. Whole load of milk. Shout out to everyone who's here, deep divers, everybody who's diving deep, right? So we're in powerful times right now. Powerful times. And there's so much to dive into. So much to dive into. You know, like I say, hey, Dave G Comedy, you're appreciated. Shout out to you. Once again, deep divers, hit that like button, hit that super chat. Hit that like button, hit that super chat. Reading every single super chat. You got a message, a question. Let's talk about it. Dave G Comedy, they allowed full contact sports early on in the pandemic to keep us from revolting, bread and circuses. Shout out to you. You know, like I always say, with everything, you know, you have to just seek truth. That's all I tell you. Seek truth. And don't live in fear, you know. But like I said, the shift is here. So much is happening right now. And a great shift is happening on the planet. Like I told you, we are entering a world where people are finding out who they really are. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Shout out to all the chosen ones. Shout out to all the people who are really getting knowledge of self finding out who they really are, because that's what it's always about. And right now, there are so many people who are starting to, I've met so many people, deep divers, who are really starting to do the ancient history, to go back into their lineage, go back to their ancestors, find out, hey, where does my bloodline go to? Because that's what it's always been about. It's always been about the bloodlines. And you have to find where your bloodline goes back to. You have to find where you got to trace your bloodline. Say, hey, what were my great, 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 great grandfathers and mothers doing? How were they living? All of these things are very important right now. Because it's going to show you who you are. Right? And this is what we have to pay attention to. But we're in a time right now of great things happening. A great metamorphosis is unfolding right now. It's happening all around the world. And that's the good news. People are ready for change. People are ready for something new. But like I told you, the reason why the world is the way it is because the inorganic ones work together. And I can't blame the inorganic ones because they respect each other. They support each other. And this is why I told you, there are people who are helping humanity. You got to support them. Because you see, the inorganic ones support their own. And that's the reason why they hold the power in the matrix. Because they support each other. And it's a lesson to humanity to realize that actually, you who think you're holier than thou, you don't support the next brother. You don't support the sister. You don't support your next fellow human being. Not realizing you're weaker because of it. Because you see, inorganic ones stick together. They work together. And they have each other's back. So you have to learn to realize that's the only way humanity can get out. It has to realize that even the force you call wicked actually has a code of conduct. That force you call evil actually shows more loyalty than a lot of other people do. They show loyalty to themselves. They cover for themselves. They protect each other. And that's the reason why when you work together, you can always accomplish a lot more. But we're in truly powerful times right now because so much is happening all around the world. Like I say, the shift is here. And you better be ready. You better be ready for the shift because it's already here. Summed up, a long time ago, somebody actually sent me a song by the name of Chaos Steve, right? Chaos Steve sent me a song talking about this shift. And what he said in those powerful 3 minutes really had a great message. And Chaos Steve, I want to say I thank you for sending me that song because it's really... it helped me open my eyes back then. I said, gosh, who is this artist? And that's why I told you, when we talk of Tina Turner, there are artists out there like Chaos Steve who put messages in his music to help other people wake up. And that's part of the shift. Let me play it for you. Once again, deep divers, smash that like button, share the video, and listen to this.
We live in a society where people hate their jobs, media and wrong nutrition take away our faith in God. They changing our thoughts, how can you say this ain't a plot? And if we don't react, we can expect that our brains will rot. See, every one of us got a purpose, now go and find it. Actually, you don't have to look for it if you're open-minded. Everything's connected, but the way we live is so divided. I'm just trying to enlighten you, cause the human folk is blinded. Your thoughts are responsible for how you perceive your life. Humans got different opinions, so do what you believe is right. Religions were invented to control and to make people fight. Why should I go to church? I just talk to God if I need advice. Fuck the separation, we're supposed to be a unity. Too many shady intentions, no one cares about you and me. I became suspicious, don't even eat the food I used to eat. Don't get manipulated and be careful what you choose to be. People always tell you what you can, but it's wrong. You should never really give a damn if you're strong. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. No matter what they say, hold on to your dream, cause anything is possible as long as you breathe. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Look, if you wanna achieve something, you don't need massive luck. If it's something you really want, then all you need to have is guts. Your subconscious mind and thoughts are shaping your reality, so own it yourself if you ain't satisfied with your salary. See, everything you do should be done with enthusiasm. Love is important too, and do never ever lose your passion. Enjoy the moment and stay away from things you can't control, and focus on the news if you really want to expand your soul. They only show us all the negative things that happen now. The problem we have is the false knowledge that's getting passed around. All these people who control the world are really selfish beasts, making us insecure and taking away our self-esteem. I'm the only person I know who questions his existence. Maybe it's my purpose to spread the truth with explicit wisdom. I will be glad if I could make this planet a better place. And if you got the same intention, then you shouldn't hesitate. People always tell you what you can, but it's wrong. You should never really give a damn if you're strong. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. No matter what they say, hold on to your dream, cause anything is possible as long as you breathe. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Start to live in harmony and stop to live in doubt and fear. Find a reason to smile instead of drowning in 1,000 tears. Ask your heart for advice so you won't regret your chosen path. Everybody needs motivation, you can't be too old for that. Showing gratitude is necessary for your future goals. You need to learn from your losses, but you should never lose your hope. Satan was created by humans to make us feel afraid. They're trying to confuse us so we don't even know what's real and fake. Listen closely to your heart so no one can control your mind. Don't believe everything just cause you hear it from an older guy. Don't get me wrong, I don't say that everything you've been told's a lie, but there are a lot of people who wanna say your soul is mine. You gotta protect it, ensure that your heart is guiding you. If you follow your intuition, it's easy to find the truth. Don't let your ego hinder you from living your life in peace. You will never reach your full potential if your mind is weak. People always tell you what you can, but it's wrong. You should never really give a damn if you're strong. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. No matter what they say, hold on to your dream, cause anything is possible as long as you breathe. Listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart. Shout out to Chaos Steve, dropping powerful truth bombs, right? Nessa Monty official, you're most definitely appreciated. Smartest and finest on the planet. Hey, I appreciate you. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. And that's what we're here to do, Deep Dive, is raise the frequency right now. Raise the frequency. And I got to shout out to Chaos Steve. You see, music like this shows me that there's a great awakening happening. You know, as an artist, you can do what Chaos Steve did, put a great message in your music and help millions of people. And that's what I'm doing. That's what Chaos Steve is doing. And that's what we're here to do. You know, we're here to raise the frequency. And like I said, this is a great time to be alive right now. Truly great time to be alive right now, because so many great things are happening. So many great things are happening. But we have to also remind ourselves that when times of great change, you know, you've got to remind yourself that reality is becoming skewed. Reality is becoming skewed. You know, a lot of people, when you remind yourself that you have these AI generated songs, right? These AI generated songs which sound very similar to the artist itself. In the next 10 years, it's going to be indistinguishable from the artist. Now you can kind of tell, oh, it's a bit of AI here. But in 10 years, the technology is going to be so advanced that you can literally clone someone's voice. You can get a call from someone, hello? You might think it's that person when it's not. There's already software that can do that. That's why I always say, be careful who calls you. Check it's really them, deep divers. Right? We have to become mindful of where the world is heading. You know, transhumanism is what's happening. The director of engineering at Google, Ray Kurzweil, the futurist, talks about how by 2045 we would have reached singularity, which is where artificial intelligence supersedes human intellect. Now, we've already come to realize this a lot sooner than there. Many futurists are talking about 2035. Some people are saying by 2030, this coincides with the Great Reset. If you've noticed when you go into supermarkets, there's not a lot of people around. Have you noticed that? Or is it just me? Because I always take a trip around the Matrix. I say, okay, are people, are there people in supermarkets or are they self-service? What's the percentage right now? And you're going to find in a lot of cities, I'm talking about European cities, even in America, you're going to find that there are more self-service than actual people serving you. There are more self-service machines than people serving you. In fact, it's hard to find a person that serves you. So this has become very prevalent. Now, why is this important? Because you see, people have gotten used to checking out with a machine. You got to watch the film Demolition Man. Kimberly Toko, hey. You are appreciated. You are most definitely appreciated. The meek are inheriting the earth. Let's dance and sing in joy. Hey, we can do that. We can do that.
I'm so happy. The whole world is just beginning. We already won. It's about us all. So many beautiful deep divers here. It's a choice.
It's a choice. Kimberly, you just made us go into a whole dance song for you. You said the meek are inheriting the earth. Let's dance and let's sing and stay in joy. Hey, I'm with you. Kimberly, I'm with you. Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. That's what it's all about. We got to remind ourselves we're only here to raise the frequency and raise the vibration. Sakamatu, you're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you, Sakamatu. You're appreciated. Speaking of milk, I grew up without a mother and was denied her milk, literally. Here I said it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm raising my frequency so high. The Illuminati can't just text me. Oh, yeah. Sakamatu, you always raising the frequency here. I appreciate you, Sakamatu. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who's here. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. We just started. And hit that super chat. Reading every single super chat. Ezekiel Morris, you're appreciated. Thanks, Ralph. Your videos have been very helpful. Any ideas on how to make connections with others who have the same vision for the new world? That's a great question. That's a great question. We can dive into that. You've got to remind yourself, Ezekiel, that to connect with other people who share the same vision, you must first put yourself out there. You know, I've collaborated with a lot of people. I've collaborated with so many people, I've lost count. Because it goes back to 2009 when I was doing Blog Talk Radio. I used to interview, literally, that's all I would do. I was just a host, interviewing guests from Dr. Carmen Butler, who did the Pyramid Code series, right? Very powerful series on ancient Egypt. I interviewed her. I interviewed so many people. That was preparing me for Infinite Waters, right? So that's all I used to do, was just interviewing people. Then I started to dive deep by myself. Then I said, okay, let me talk to different people. But like I said, I've been interviewing. We had 19 Keys. Shout out to 19 Keys. We had 19 Keys on the show. We had Sadhguru on the show. Till Swan, Sonia Barrett, Max Egan. I've been interviewing so many different people. Fully Raw Christina. We talked to her a long time ago. I talked to a lot of people, deep divers. It's just, this is what you have to do. You have to reach out. You have to reach out, and you have to put aside the ego. You see, one of the things that a lot of people who are sharing knowledge can sometimes be in the ego. They don't want to reach out to other people. And you have to be humble. When I was, I said I have to interview Sadhguru. The reason why I said I have to interview Sadhguru, Ezekiel, because I said that Sadhguru is someone who has, I was actually in a park, right? I was in a park and someone said, "Oh, Ralph, I love your videos." This was back in 2012. They said, "Oh, Ralph, I love your videos." I had just started YouTube. I said, and then he said, "I've got to go." I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Oh, I'm going to a talk by this guy called Sadhguru." I said, "Oh, who's that?" But I later found out who it was. But I said, you know, this is someone who is doing great work. And me reaching out to him and him saying, "Yes, I can join you," that only created two perspectives coming together. Nothing is more powerful than two people coming together with different perspectives to provide a greater unity so people can see it. When I connected with 19 Keys, it was the same thing. We don't agree on everything, but I said, hey, this is also a brother who's really diving deep. I'm doing it in a different way, but if we come together, great things can happen. My good friend Till Swan, the same thing. She's doing amazing work. And then there's Infinite Waters, but we've been diving deep for a long time. So to make connections with others who have the same vision for the new world, you must reach out to them. You must say, hey, let's come together. You must also create something that is magnetizing. So people say, hey, I want to be a part of that. You see, because you see, everybody likes success. That's the thing. When you're first starting, nobody cares. But if you have someone who has 100,000 followers on YouTube, you're drawn to that person because you're like, okay, this person is influencing a lot of people. And you have to remind yourself to start building your empire. Because once you're building your empire, people who have the same vision are going to come and they're going to come to you. They're going to ask you for things. They're going to say, hey, let's collaborate. Hey, let's work together. Because they're there. They just need to see you. So you have to remind yourself, you connect with others who have the same vision as you for the new world by putting out the work. You see, there are a lot of people who have a lot of great things to talk about, but they got no platform. You need a platform. I told you. Right now, everybody needs a website. Everybody needs a .com, a .net. Because if you don't have a website, you're missing out. When I realized I had to get my own website, not just YouTube. I'm not just on YouTube. I'm on ralphsmart.com. I got my own clothing company on, my own clothing store on there. nearly 5 books on there, audio CDs, videos, all kind of things. ralphsmart.com. Because I realize you can't just be dependent on YouTube. You have to have your own website. And that's the first step. So set up your own website and then invite people who you admire. Say, hey, I want to interview you. I want to talk to you. And this is how you start connecting with people who have the same vision as you. I interviewed Dr. Bruce Lipton. Now, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I was a big fan of his work. This was back in the day, 2015. I said, gosh, I really like this guy's work. And since I'm doing Infinite Waters, I can say, Dr. Bruce, can you come on Infinite Waters? Can we talk about epigenetics? He said, absolutely. So we did a whole show. It's on YouTube, right? Dr. Bruce Lipton featuring Infinite Waters. We talked. We dived deep. So I was able to connect with someone who's doing great work because I had a platform. So if you want to connect with other people who are doing the same as what you want to do, start by creating something that people are going to be drawn to. Nobody can turn down success. Let me repeat that. Nobody will turn down success or someone who's doing something, right? So start doing something and you'll find other people who have the same vision for you, who have the same vision for the new world. That's a great question. Ezekiel, you made us go down a deep dive. Shout out to you. Divine is, you are appreciated. Such a life we have created to be between realms. Just living to make sure there's one more connection you can find before you outgrow the old or they are gone. That way you'll always find new joy. Shout out to you. You're appreciated. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of you wonderful deep divers who are here. Once again, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. So, a lot of people are realizing we've been living in a cheap, tacky carnival funhouse. This whole thing is a joke. This whole thing is a sitcom. And this is the shift that's happening. A lot of people are now waking up. A lot of people are now waking up to their greatness, waking up to their power. And this is the time right now to be prepared, to be ready. Because Tedros was chosen to be, the front man of WHO, World Health Organization. But you have to be very mindful of what he represents. And when he said the next pandemic is knocking on the door, right? You have to be taking that very seriously. Because like I always tell you, I'm a prophet. I'm a 33, born on March 3rd at 3:03. And people who are born on that date come in on the number of prophecy. And this is why it's very important. He was handpicked because of when he was born. What date was he born, deep divers? Put it in the chat. What date was he born? What date was he born? Shout out to everyone who's here, everyone who's diving deep. What date was he born? Because like I told you, everything is about numerology. Everything is about the numbers. Everything is about the numbers. Shout out to everyone who's here, deep divers. Smash that like button, hit that super chat. Right? I hope your day has been going good, deep divers. So much to talk about, so much to dive into. Like I told you, everything is all about the numbers. Thank you. March 3rd. Right? This is very powerful. That's why I told you. That's the number of prophecy. So him also being a 33 is also powerful to the extent that what he's talking about is going to come true in the Matrix. And that's why I told you, pay attention. Let me play you one more time what he just said in Geneva. Let me play it for you one more time if you're just joining.
The end of COVID-19 as a global health emergency is not the end of COVID as a global health threat. Earlier this month, the Secretariat published the 4th edition of the Global Strategic Preparedness and Response Plan for COVID-19, which outlines critical actions for countries in 5 core areas. The threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains. And the threat of another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains. And pandemics are far from the only threat we face. In a world of overlapping and converging crises, an effective architecture for health emergency preparedness and response must address emergencies of all kinds. This year's high-level meeting on pandemic preparedness and response is a valuable opportunity for leaders to chart a clear path forward towards that future. We cannot kick this can down the road. If we do not make the changes that must be made, then who will? And if we do not make them now, and when? When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively, collectively, and equitably.
Right? So like I say, what he just said, when the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will. So you have to always remind yourself, pay attention to the words that are used. Pay attention to everything that's been said. So this is why I say you should already be preparing yourself for what's coming. You shouldn't be on snooze. You should be saying, okay, let me prepare myself for what's coming. Not be in a state of fear, but be ready for what's coming. Because like I told you, a lot is happening in 2025. Right? Shout out to everyone who's here. Once again, shout out to Tina Turner, great singer. Condolences to her family. You know, phenomenal singer. Great legend who really sang with a lot of soul, a lot of passion, and this is rare. So deep divers, the shift that's happening. Like I say, let's raise the frequency. Let's raise the frequency. And elevate. Let's elevate. If you're ready to elevate, deep divers, just say elevate. We used to play that song, Deep Divers. Elevate, elevate. If you're ready to elevate, because that's what we're here to do. If you're ready to elevate, just say elevate, elevate. Elevate, elevate. Let me shout out to the wonderful Studio H. You're most definitely appreciated. Studio H, thank you so much. What are your thoughts on the entertainment industry in the new age? How would film, music, and game industries evolve in the new infrastructure? Platforms, so much appreciation to you, Ralphie. So much love. Hey. Round of applause for you. You're most definitely appreciated. That's a great question. What are your thoughts on the entertainment industry in the new age? How would film, music, and game industries evolve in the new infrastructure platforms? So much appreciation. That's a great question. What I can tell you is that the entertainment industry is already changing. Have you heard the AI songs of Drake that are trending more than the actual Drake songs, right? AI is taking over the entertainment industry. A few years back, there was actually on Instagram, no one could actually tell if it was a real person or it was a digital person, right? Because it seemed like she was a real human being. I forgot her name. Someone remind me, right? But she was someone who had a large audience and people couldn't tell, is she a real, I think she would sing and she would act and do all of these things, but no one could actually tell if she was a real being. And then we realized later on she was actually someone's creation. Someone had actually created her. And people were interacting with her like she was a real person. All in all, she was actually animated, but she didn't look animated, but she was actually an animation. We're moving into a time where the entertainment industry is creating digital avatars. The film, music, and game industries are creating digital avatars of you. When Tupac had the hologram in Coachella, a lot of people were spooked out, but said, oh, that's crazy. Well, that's old technology. The new technology is where you're going to be FaceTiming someone holographically. Everything is going to be like that. So when you have a Skype call with someone, they're going to appear in a 3D form in your living room. This is the technology that's on the horizon by 2045. Holographic Skype calls. You just phone someone. Hey, no, they're there in your living room. And this is also an introduction into the metaverse. So the entertainment industry, the film, the music, the game industry is all about plugging you into a virtual reality. For instance, how the music industry will change. Let's just say, who's your favorite artist? Whoever your favorite artist is, let's just say Kanye West, Taylor Swift, Beyonce. Whoever your favorite artist is, even Tina Turner. Doesn't matter who they are, if they're alive or not. You can go to their concert. You see, when you remind yourself that as an artist, when you sign a contract with a record label, you're not only signing a contract, you're signing the future rights to your songs forever and ever. That's the reason why in Scientology, the guy who made Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, was in a bar when he wrote that book, Dianetics, right? And Scientology, when you sign a contract in Scientology, how long is the contract, deep divers? Do you know? Do you know how long the contract is for? Do any of you know? Have any idea how long it's for? A year, 2 years, or what? Any of you know? When you sign a contract in Scientology, how long is the contract for? How long is that contract for? Forever. That's right. Forever. It's for billions and trillions of years. Billions and trillions of years. Now, why would they say billions and trillions of years? You might think, hey, I'm going to be out of here. No, what you don't realize is that L. Ron Hubbard was so smart. He realized that the whole world is shifting into a metaverse. Don't you realize that your avatar, your digital avatar is going to exist forever in the metaverse? So when you have singers like who have passed away, like Tupac Shakur, all of these people, they're going to have live concerts where you can pay and go and see Tupac Shakur live, even though he's passed away, because someone owns all of the catalog. And that's why it's so important for you to own your masters. I hope Tina Turner owns her masters, because if not, they're going to be profiting when you're no longer here. All of that catalog is going to be used to have concerts. So XXXTentacion, even though he's passed away, in the next 10 years, they're going to have concerts where you can go to an XXXTentacion concert. You can pay $50, $100, and it's going to be a holographic concert where you get plugged into the metaverse with the VR, and it's going to be like a real experience. This is what's happening to the music industry. Everything is becoming digitalized. And that's the reason why what you can do is learn the business of the game. Prince was so smart. He said, Prince had an album he could release every year for 100 years. He had so much unreleased music that he could release an album every year after he died for the next 100 years. He had that much music unreleased. But he said, you know what? If I'm not mistaken, he said, I don't want any of my music released. Prince was so smart that you can't even stream his music on certain platforms. I don't even think you can stream his music on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken, because he said, hey, I don't want to get pimped digitally. A lot of people, a lot of musicians, you might say, oh my gosh, Drake's got 63 million streams a month, right? Or Bad Bunny. But what they don't tell you is that artists are worse off than they are, right? They're worse off now than they were before. See, a lot of artists, with streaming, it actually made them poorer. And the reason why is because back in the day, you had to buy a CD. You would buy a CD, it would have like pictures inside of the cover. It would tell you who produced the song and all of these things. But you had to literally buy a hard copy of the CD. Now, if you're a smart artist, you can make a deal and say, hey, I get, 5% of one sale, or 10%. Sometimes if a CD sold for $10, you might be lucky if you got one. Some artists were lucky enough to get 5. But you were earning revenue because people had to buy the CD. Now, people can listen to music for free. That's great for the audience, but it's bad for the artist. Because a lot of artists aren't being compensated for their work like they should be. So, Studio H, such a great question. The entertainment industry, the music industry, the gaming industry is all going into the metaverse. Instagram is coming to an end. Instagram is old. All of these things, even YouTube, all of the current internet is coming to an end. This is the internet 1.0. There's an internet 2.0 where, once again, it's going to be a completely different experience. But I don't know how deep you want me to dive deep on this question, deep divers. Studio H, I'm going to leave it there, right? But we can go deeper. Because you see, Apple are going to release eyewear, which is going to be connected to the VR. So you're going to put these eye goggles on, these eyeglasses on, go on the internet with your eyeglasses anywhere. That's going to be the introduction to the metaverse. All of the iPhones are going to be changing, right? This is the last version. In the next two years, because it's iPhone 14, iPhone 15, by iPhone 16 or 17, you're not going to have the wide phone. It's going to be smaller. And they're releasing the eye goggles, right? But a lot is happening. Like I say, the shift is here. So many people right now are waking up. So many people are starting to question their reality. And that's what it's always about. One thing I want to tell you, deep dives, is that there's nothing to be afraid of. Because we are in truly great times. If it seems like things are coming to an end, that's because they have to. Things have to come to an end. The caterpillar has to come to an end before the butterfly can emerge. And this is the reason why you see the whole world going through this massive shift right now, because it is the last stage of the caterpillar. It's the last stage of the caterpillar. And humanity is the caterpillar. So it has a choice. It can remain a caterpillar, or it can make the metamorphosis. Shout out to everyone who's here, everybody who's diving deep. Like I say, powerful show. Powerful show. Hit that like button, deep divers, share the video. Hit that like button, deep divers, share the video. Let's raise the frequency.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Breakdown.
Raising the frequency, right? Raising the frequency. The Astral Chef, you're appreciated. Peace, Ralph, to the deep divers. Can the metaverse even be at a higher frequency? And can we elevate to a 432 hertz? Sending love. Absolutely phenomenal question. Once again, deep divers, make sure if you've got a question on any specific topic, hit that super chat. Hit that tip page. Peace, Ralph, to the deep divers. Can the metaverse ever be at a high frequency, and can we elevate to 432 hertz? Absolutely. We can always elevate to any hertz frequency higher than 432 hertz, 700 and over. The metaverse can be at a high frequency because once again, it's all about the intention. It's not a negative thing necessarily. It's about how we use it. The thing is, you always want to use it as a tool and not a master. And that's what it's always about. You know, the metaverse is always about showing us how it can be used for some beneficial things. For instance, the technology which is good can, for instance, you can have a digital translator where you're talking to someone, they already have this technology in a different language, and you can understand everything they say. You can also answer back to them. So this kind of technology is going to create more unity. It's a good thing. So there are some great advances within the technology that's coming that can actually help humanity advance to a better and higher place. But also, it's about how you use it. That's a great question. Once again, Deep Diver, shout out to you. So like I say, we started off the show with Tina Turner passing away at 83. And I did say that, you know, you're going to have to listen to the whole show. I already broke it down. But people like Tina Turner aren't just singers. You know, they're called stars for a reason, because these people like Tina Turner, she was in the Netherlands and she's performing Proud Mary, rolling. And if you see her singing, you realize she's not from this planet. People like Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Prince, all of these people, they're not from this planet. They're otherworldly. That's the reason why when you listen to a Tina Turner song, it doesn't sound like anyone else. These people have tremendous gifts, tremendous powers. And, Tina Turner is somebody who really overcame so much adversity in her own life, being in an abusive relationship. She was not only a great singer, she was an ambassador for a strong woman, African-American woman who overcame so much and still came out on top. So condolences to her family, phenomenal singer. But this is also about celebrating her life, because you have to remind yourself, energy can never be destroyed, only transferred. Energy can never be destroyed, only transferred. And the music she has is living forever. That's the gift. That's the gift, and that's the reason why you have to be very mindful of what you're creating. You have to say, hey, where is my body of work? Where is my body of work? Because you want to create with intention. You want to create with purpose. And that's what it's always about. That's what it's always about. And people like Tina Turner were able to do that. When you remind yourself that those singers like Tina Turner are the last of a dying breed. If you've noticed, a lot of singers these days, they're on the auto tune. They're on the digital synths and all of these things. It doesn't sound organic. It doesn't sound authentic. People like Tina Turner, she's off the old school, which is the authentic, raw voice. You had to have talent. You have to have had talent. You can't just be somebody trying to sing. You got to really know how to sing. When they do these shows like X Factor and America's Got Talent, all of those shows, they're trying to sing like Tina. They're trying to sing like Aretha Franklin. They're trying to sing like Michael Jackson. But when you have people who go on those shows, what kind of songs are they singing? They're singing Proud Mary. They're singing classics. So they're singing songs that were written 50 years ago, 40 years ago. And this shows you that back then you had to have you had to have real talent. You can't get away with it. Now you can get away with it. You can change your voice, get the AI to help you. But back then, people like Tina Turner could really sing. You had to have some kind of talent to make it in those days. If you were a singer, you had to be like Whitney Houston was singing in church. Whitney Houston was singing in church at 4 years old. She had an amazing voice. These people like Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, these singers, they were born singers. They didn't just pop up saying, hey, I want to make some money. No, That's what they came here to do. And it's so amazing just to see her live in concert. And she's got her dancers on her. She's got her dancers with her on stage. You know, she's really rocking and grooving. And you really realize she had so much talent. And, you know, we just celebrate her life right now and the music she left. 5D music scene, shout out to you. Shout out to you. How cool would it be to see musicians like Michael Jackson live, someone that has passed away? I think that's amazing, yet to sell my soul to do it. Giving thanks, mentor. You rock. Gratitude. Well, you've got to remind yourself that, you know, I heard something very interesting. You know, Ice Cube was being interviewed. He said, hey, you know, I hate that. I hate this AI stuff. He said, I would sue the person if they did that to me and put it on a platform. I would sue the platform. That's the greatest form of disrespect. And when he said that, I really thought about it. Say, actually, he's got a point. Because you see, your voice is an original. And no one should have the power to kind of use your voice and make another song out of it. That's the ultimate disrespect. Especially if people are praising the AI version of you. How would you like it, Deep Divers, if you are a real singer and someone makes an AI version of your song and the AI version is actually more popular than your actual song? Right? So, you know, he had a point. And I always say that you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful because, you see, someone is always profiting. There was an artist by the name of Juice WRLD. Now, Juice WRLD was, he came after X, right? Juice WRLD was someone who was very talented because he had a gift of this instant flow state. And what that means is that Juice WRLD was so talented, he could make an album in however long the song was. He freestyled for over 1 hour. He was so talented that his freestyles were actual songs, right? And when you're someone with that much talent, and when you're being thrown millions of dollars at you, you got to be very careful. Because the thing is, you don't have the right energy around you, especially when you're young. You know, you've got so much so quickly and so many things are happening. And a lot of these artists, that whole SoundCloud era, Lil Peep, XXX, Juice WRLD, that was a SoundCloud era. A lot of these artists were going through stuff. I remember 2016, 2017, it was crazy. Do you remember that, Deep Divers? Like, the whole music scene was crazy because you had an explosion of SoundCloud artists becoming more popular than actual artists. That's where all of these young artists came from, SoundCloud. And it was a state and a time where people were saying anything and everything. And you know, that there was a lot of this emo rap and all kind of things, but it was a time where, you know, a lot of people were getting caught up in a frequency which you have to be careful in. Because you see, when you're dancing with the devil, you have to be careful. And what I mean by dancing with the devil is that a lot of people don't realize words are spells. So a lot of these artists, they have to heal themselves before they deliver music. Because when you had an artist like Amy Winehouse, in her last concert, they were booing her. She needed some help. She had the wrong people around her. They should have said, hey, go to rehab. Hey, get some help. I'm a psychologist. I look out for artists. I want to help artists. I want to say, hey, don't perform until you're mentally healthy. There's a reason why Justin Bieber canceled the concert. Because he's smart enough to know, hey, I don't want to kill myself in the process. And that's what as an artist, you have to be protecting your energy more than anybody, because as an artist, you got millions of people who are projecting their energy onto you. There's a reason why Beyonce doesn't follow anybody on Instagram. As an artist, you can't be too all over the place. You got to be protecting your energy and get in, get out. That's what you have to do. Because like I say, shout out to everyone who's here, deep divers. Everybody who's diving deep, you're appreciated. Rizza, you are most definitely appreciated. Hey, I appreciate you, Rizza. It's good to see you. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. So, you know, artists like Tina Turner, they were able to get through that, because you're not supposed to survive when you've been through what she's been through. But somehow, some way, she was able to get through it. And that's the reason why when you hear her sing, she's really coming from a powerful place, because she was in a horrible relationship. Most women don't survive out of that, but she did. So she is like an ambassador to say, hey, you can get through it and still manifest your dream. And that's powerful. Let's give a round of applause. Because not everyone can do that. Not everyone can do that. And that's the thing, where a lot of people don't realize a lot of these artists are going through so much. Then you got to sing about it. Then you got to perform in different states. You know, I was in LA, and you know, it was a crazy scene back then, you know, because you had so much going on. People like Mac Miller, all of these people, all they needed is some help. And this is the reason why you have to remind yourself, if you're an artist, you have to protect your energy, because it's easy to get lost in the source. And that's why when you have an artist like Tina Turner, who's been through so much, it's really a success story, because she's not supposed to have gone through all of that and come out alive, but she did. And that's why it's only respect. Mark Moley, you're appreciated. Shout out to you. How did humans end up in a zombie-like state when we're supposed to be angels? That's a great question. That's a great question, Mark. That's a great question. Well, you've got to remind yourself that our natural state is this. This is the natural state human beings came to live in. This is a great state human beings came to live in. Can you do this every single day? That's the question I asked for you. Can you do that? What that woman just did. Can you do that every day? Can you go to a beach and just meditate? I'm asking you right now in the chat. How many of you can do that? How many of you can do that? I can do that. Right? How many of you can do? How many of you can wake up and say, you know what, right now, I'm going to do this. Right now, I'm going to do that for 2 hours every single day. Can you do that for 2 hours? Not 5 minutes. No, 2 hours every single day. Because if you do that for 2 hours, you're going to turn into an angel. But I'm asking you, do you have the time to do that? Do you have the financial freedom to do that? Are you in the location to do that? Have you manifested enough to do that? Well, you see, some people can do that, and that's fantastic and amazing to hear. But a lot of people can't do that. every day. Starlight, you're most definitely appreciated. I appreciate you, Starlight. Let me shout out to Starlight in the house. Wait a second, Starlight. Starlight. Thank you. Thank you for that, Starlight. You're most definitely appreciated. Starlight coming in saying this. Hey. Thank you, Ralph Smart, for always being consistent and inspiring me. Thank you for going live. I love you. You so much. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Starlight, you're most definitely appreciated. So how many of you can do that? You see, I was living in Hawaii for a long time. And living in Hawaii is different. You know, forget about LA. No, I was living in Oahu, right? I was living in Oahu in waking up to Lanikai Beach. And I told you, like, your environment helps to mold you. When I was waking up to Lanikai Beach, if you've ever been to Lanikai Beach, you know what I'm talking about. Rated one of the best beaches in the world. It's what you see on a postcard. When you're there, you realize, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And not only that, I grew up by the beach. When I was 10, I went to Sierra Leone, one of the best beaches in the world. All around the peninsula, you got the best beaches in the world. I've lived in Ethiopia, lived in the Red Sea, Dahab, been to the Cape Verde Islands, lived in Spain, Salamanca. All over the world I've been traveling. But Hawaii was slightly different. They actually filmed Jurassic Park in Manoa Falls. I went there. And when you're in that frequency, you begin to turn into an angel. And that's why I asked you, do you have the time to do this every single day? Do you have the time to do that every single day? Because if you do, you're going to turn into an angel. If you do have the time to do that, you're going to turn into an angel. When you remind yourself, do you have the time to do this? Do you have the time to do that? Do you have the time to do this? She's turning into an angel. Do you have the time just to walk out into the heart of nature every single day, go hiking, do whatever you want, like tomorrow morning? Because if you do, you're going to turn into an angel. A lot of people become zombies in the world because they're in a hurry to get nowhere fast. A lot of people become zombies because they're merely existing and they're not living. Most people want the same thing. They want a good life. They'll turn into angels, right? But you see, the game is not set up like that. The game is set up for you got to find your way out. It's not easy. And the stress that life creates for so many people makes them addicted to sometimes alcohol, all kinds of substances, all kind of stuff. And also a lot of people, they get the life taken out of them. Most people die at 18 and don't get buried until 75. Most people die at 18 and don't get buried until 75. So that's why I told you, when we talk of the great manifestation, for you to do this every single day, you got to be a master manifester. You got to be financially free. You better have a lot of money. You better have, and I'm not just talking about money as in cash, but I'm talking about money as in inner peace and health. Because this woman is rich right here. This woman is rich right here. She's realizing I create happiness. But for you to do that, you got to be extremely wealthy. Do you have time to go on vacation right now? For 6 months? Not 2 weeks. Now I'm talking, do you have time to go on vacation for 6 months? Say, hey, I'm going to the Seychelles. I'm going to Ibiza. Have you heard that song, I'm going to Ibiza, right? Do you have time to do that for 6 months? Well, this is what you want to do. Do you have time to say, hey, I'm going to Tulum for 3 months? Because if you do, you're extremely wealthy and you're free. And this is what we have to be asking ourselves. We got to be asking ourselves this question. Do I have the time to travel and be free? And what you realize is that a lot of people don't, because a lot of people have other commitments. Sometimes you got children to take care of. Sometimes you got a job. You can't just leave. Otherwise you get fired, right? So these are all the dynamics at play. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. We just started getting into it. Smash that like button, share the video. Hit that super chat displaying every single comment on the screen. Stoy, you are appreciated. My own sensed view on reptiles are limited. I'd like to know your view on them. I know they are people and I pick up on them in establishments such as Subways when I get a spicy vegan. I like that. I like that. Shout out to you. That's a great question. I'm someone who always says that, there are theories that, hey, there are reptiles and all of these things. I don't really subscribe to that. I always tell people that everyone is a reptile. I'm a reptile. You're a reptile. You know why? Why are you a reptile? Someone explain in the comment section, please. Someone explain why every human being is a reptile. We are all reptiles. I'm a reptile. You're a reptile. Even the cat down the road is a reptile. What? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Shout out to everyone who's here. Everybody who's diving deep. I hope your day is going good, deep divers. I really do hope you're raising your frequency. Raising the vibration. Thank you. Akura, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Everyone is a reptile because we have a reptilian brain. Got to remind yourself the oldest brain the human has is the reptile brain. Ever seen someone who just fights with other people for no reason? Ever got really angry for no reason? People lash out for no reason? That's because you're a reptile. That's what reptiles do. You've still got reptile DNA inside of you. Because you've got to remind yourself the reptiles are older than you. They've been here longer than you. The Komodo dragon has been here longer than you. The alligator, the crocodile, they've been here longer than you. But more so, you have a reptilian brain right here. Reptilian brainstem. And that is protecting you with the fight or flight. So you've got the reptile brain, mammalian brain, and the new brain, which is the neocortex. But the reptilian brain is the oldest brain that we have. And this is the reason why when people say, hey, I'm an angel, I say, let's see about that. Because you have to do a lot of work to tame that reptile brain. Ever seen so much buffoonery on the internet? That's the reptile brain. That's easy for people to tap into. But to go to the higher levels, you got to become a god or a goddess. That takes work. But it's easy for people to dumb down and be in ignorance because that's the reptile brain. There's a film which you should see. It's called They Live. In the film They Live, the guy puts on the glasses and he sees that the advertisements have subliminal messages in them. He also sees that the news reporters are aliens. It's a great film because that film was in the 80s, but whoever wrote that film or directed that film, they knew something. They were telling humanity to wake up because things aren't always what they seem. So I always realized that the UFOs are already here. They've already been here. I already see UFOs every single day. There was a UFO recently spotted in California. A lot of the UFOs, the Pentagon has already confirmed UFOs. A lot of the UFOs aren't in the air anymore. They're actually underwater. That's why they're dropping underwater. This has been documented. And this is the full disclosure that's coming. That we've actually never been alone. And that there are far more advanced beings on this planet around our solar system than we can ever imagine. Ridley Scott has been trying to help human beings to wake up. He did Aliens, for goodness sakes, right? Ridley Scott did Aliens, right? He's trying to tell you. He did Prometheus. Ridley Scott, you have to go and watch Prometheus. You have to go and watch Alien Covenant. The Alien Covenant, which is the sequel. Ridley Scott was trying to show you that, hey, you've never ever been alone. There are other beings around. Pay attention. Right? And that's the reason why you have to realize that if you go back to ancient Egypt or Sumeria, Iraq is one of the fathers of civilization. That's where it all came from. Ancient Egypt as well. But Sumeria has a lot of lost knowledge. A lot of people don't know about Sumeria. They don't realize that there was so much technology down there. They had the Baghdad battery. They had all kind of things. And that's also why people went there, right? Because they weren't just going to take oil, but you have to realize Iraq has so many monuments. It has the missing jigsaws to civilization itself. But in Sumeria, they talk of other beings coming down. In the Sumerian tablets, they talk about it all. And you can go and see it in the British Museum. You can see all of it. You can see the Sumerian tablets. And if you read it, you realize that there's a greater story to humanity that a lot of humanity doesn't know about. But that story also gets translated into the Bible with the Nephilim, giants walking around the earth. Giants with massive skulls. They've been found all over Brazil, all over the planet. So when you remind yourself that most people don't know anything because everything you've been taught is a part of a program, and there's so much more to human history than you can ever imagine. Anthony himself in the house. Shout out to you, Anthony. You're most definitely appreciated. Hi, Ralph. Thanks for bringing awareness around Dr. Buttar. He was a vocal player from the start of the scam. Shout out to you. You're appreciated. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. And that's the thing. Like I say, you can see that in other texts like the Bible, all of these things, they're talking about giants walking the earth. They're talking about all kind of things. And that's why you realize that there's been this whole suppression that actually we've never actually been alone. And there's a huge thing that's coming out within the next 2 years. You're going to start to see that actually it's going to be confirmed that there are other life on other planets for sure. And this is the reason why Elon Musk is doing SpaceX and all of these things, because you see, it's already known that there are other entities around, and they've always been here. That's the thing. They've always been around. A lot of them are more advanced than human beings. In fact, they created you. We'll talk about that another time. We talk about that another time. But they're the ones that gave you your language. They are the ones who came on the planet first, and they became deified as gods. Every time you worship, they become alive. And they're real entities. And it goes back. It's a big story. It's a big story. But this ties into everything that's happening. Because you see, there are so many secrets that have been kept away from humanity. And the reason why is because you want the truth. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle it. You're not ready for it. The masses are only ready for bread and circuses. They're only ready for, are you not entertained? They're not ready to dive deep. And the only way you can get the secrets is if you dive deep. The people who have gotten the secrets are the human beings who have been diving deep. These are the human beings they've been part of the Knights Templar. They're part of the Freemasons, all of these secret societies. These are the people who get the secrets because they realize that that's the only way they can know them. Because you see, if you're with the masses, you can never know the secrets. If you're with the herd, you can never know the secrets. You have to realize information is not for everybody. Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. So throughout time, the only people who have had the knowledge are the people who have joined secret clubs, secret societies, and Eyes Wide Shut. They were trying to tell you. Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell you in Eyes Wide Shut. That's what happens. Creatives, you are appreciated. How do you deal with unstable clarity and managing multiple obligations at once? That's a great question. Let me screenshot that question. You got to remind yourself that focus is huge, right? Every single day, you want to make sure that you focus on one thing and one thing at a time. You know, a lot of people have a lot to do. A lot of people have a lot to do. A lot of people have to take care of their brother, their sister, their wife, their husband, their mom, their dad, their cousins, their aunties, their uncles. So there's no time for you, right? And you have to remind yourself to learn that you have to now have that me time. You have to put yourself first. You have to learn that do one thing at a time. Don't overdo it. You know, a lot of people give themselves too much to do. And I always say you want to learn. How to not do too much, but do just enough. Do just enough. And it's a question of having one priority at a time. One priority at a time. Once you do that, go to the next one. And what's the most important thing? As soon as you wake up, you say, what's the most important thing right now that can really help me? What's the most important thing right now that can change my life? There are only going to be few things that are going to do that. So those are the things you give the most priority to. right? So for me, if I wake up and say, okay, I can make a video, I can feed the cat down the road, I can talk to someone on the phone, and these are all obligations. I can, do all of these things, kiss my loved one, all of these things. There's a lot of different things you have to do. Go to the post office, wash the clothes, iron the clothes, cook the food, go to the estate agent, all kind of things you got to do. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say, okay, what's the most important thing Ralph Smart can do? What's going to have the most impact? What's going to have the most impact, deep divers? Breathing in that good ass prana. You know why? Because I've got videos with over 6 million views. This channel nearly has 500 million views. Infinite Waters is on its way to 500 million views on YouTube. So Infinite Waters has been seen by most of the world. Right? So I'm not only making videos, I'm shifting the whole culture. I'm shifting the whole world. I'm changing the whole world. I meet people who say, gosh, Ralph, I've been watching your videos since I was 10, since I was 15, since I was 20, since I was 25, since I was 35, since I was 45. I'm just starting now and I'm 60, Ralph. But it's showing me that these videos are getting circulated. They're being passed around. So you have to wake up to say, okay, let me create something. Let me do something that's going to be here for a long time. So focus on what's most important. Great question. Great question. Great question. Great question. Shout out to you. So many wonderful deep divers who are here. So many wonderful deep divers who are diving deep. And we've got to remind ourselves right now, it's all about good frequencies and good vibrations. Good frequencies and good vibrations. Good frequencies and good vibrations. So one of the biggest things that's happening right now on the planet, deep divers, one of the biggest things that's happening right now on the planet, deep divers, is this new awareness that's hitting the planet. And this new awareness involves you realizing that it all goes back in the box. And that's why I told you, when you remind yourself it all goes back in the box, everything changes. It's not about your material possessions. It's not about the car you drive, how big your house is, It's all about the impact that you make. It's all about the impact that you make. And this is what matters in the end. The impact that you make. It's not about, okay, I got a Rolex on, I got a Louis Vuitton bag. That's cool. But ultimately, you have to realize, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that important. What's important is how you've affected other people. When I wake up, someone says, Ralph, I get a message, Ralph, thank you so much for your videos. You've helped me out, this, that. That's what matters. That's what we do it for. That's what we do it for. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You know, Tina Turner was a phenomenal artist. And you realize that when great singers pass, people don't say, okay, yeah, they were so rich. No, you listen to the music that they created, right? So it's all about that. It's all about you realizing, focus on the right things. You want to make sure you're living a life where you can leave something behind for your great grandchildren to say, hey, my great grandma did this. My great grandpa did this. You want to leave a legacy behind. So you may not change the world, but like Tupac said, you can spark the mind that does, right? Because you got to remind yourself, a young scientist is out there who's watching infinite waters. A young architect is out there who's watching infinite waters. A young mathematician or doctor is watching infinite waters. So when they grow up, they're going to have a whole new perspective on things. The same thing is happening for you. Someone is out there watching you, and they're going to grow up. So just imagine what happens when they do. So this is the reason why you don't want to just think short term. You want to think long term. And you want to realize that people are watching you and they're growing up, and you can shift the whole collective reality. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And I'm an OG in the game. I'm a triple OG in the game. I've been here over 10 years, this strong, this long, only through the universe's grace. Because I told you, the universe is my bodyguard. That's a slow motion. I told you, deep divers, the universe is my bodyguard. I want all the smoke. Shout out to everyone who's here, deep divers. Impact. That's what it's always about. Dave G Comedy. Once again, deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. Hit that super chat. Smash that like button, share the video. Hit that super chat. We got a lot to talk about. Dave G Comedy, shout out to you. We can tap into source consciousness love anytime. Be in the now. The happiest places on earth are the poorest. Stay in source. Spread love. It's the BK way. Hey, you're appreciated. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you. And I would go so far as to say the happiest places on the earth are actually the richest. You got to remind yourself that being rich is a state of mind. And that's what we're here to do. Shout out to everybody who's diving deep. So like I say, deep divers, we're in very interesting times on the planet. You know, so much is getting ready to take place. And this is a time where you want to protect your energy. You want to raise the frequency. Because the next pandemic is on its way. The next pandemic is on its way. And like I said, that you have to prepare yourself for what's coming. Because you see, in this world, in this 3D reality, if you're in it, everything happens in a pattern. And it's very easy to know what's coming because all you have to do is take a look at what's been before. Everything happens in a sequence. 1, 2, 3. It's a 1, 2, 3 sequence. So when you have Tedros from the World Health Organization telling you, when the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, you should really pay attention, because they're telling you it's coming. So you should be saying, okay, I've got to be ready for what's coming, because it's coming. Like I told you, inorganic ones never take a day off. Inorganic ones never take a day off. Every single day, they're working. And that's the reason why right now you want to raise your frequency to a higher state. You want to raise your vibration to a higher state. You want to raise your chakras up to the crown chakra. Do your meditations, your affirmations, because that's the only way you're going to survive. because, a lot of humanity don't realize this is just the beginning. Great news, which I have to share with you, deep divers, is that if you're someone who has been diving deep, if you're somebody who has been on this journey, really trusting yourself, really knowing who you are, all of this was just a confirmation that you were right all along. All of this is just a confirmation that you were right all along. And you should be proud of yourself. You should be happy. You should be elated to say, hey, I knew it and I was right. So we're in a time right now where you can actually see how right you are. You can make little predictions with yourself and say, okay, let me predict this and see if it happens. And if it happens, well, you were right. So this is a great time of you actually testing your hypothesis, testing to see if you're actually really tapped in. And we all have the gift of clairvoyance once we tune in to see what's coming. And what's coming is a choice humanity has to take between freedom or a new prison. George Orwell, who wrote 1984, said, if you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. Now that's quite gruesome. And that's a choice. That's one reality. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. Why would he say that? Why would anybody say that? That's horrible. Well, that's a reality that's going to exist. There's also another reality. If you want a vision of the future, think in terms of this. Fifth dimension. High frequency. Right? High frequency. Let me show you a vision of the future, deep divers. I want everybody to hit that like button and share this video. Hit that like button and share this video. This is a vision of the future. This is another reality.
There's a call on humanity right now, and it's serious business. All around the world, you can feel it. The ascension is happening. The shift is kicking in. The conscious is getting higher and higher. You can feel the godliness. You can feel the power within. It's that time. Divine intervention. Divine intervention. A call for humanity to rise up to its power. Your power. Your power. Just rise up to your power. Just rise up to your power. To your power. 5D mind state. It's all about love. It's all about the people. It's all about you. It's all about me. It's all about we. And together, unity. And together, unity.
Your power, deep divers. Your power. That was powerful. Shout out to Abness for creating that masterpiece. Shout out to everyone who's here. Dave G Comedy, shout out to you. The richest places are the most anxious. Peace comes from within, not beaches or riches. I like that. I like that. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who's here. Shout out to you. You know, like I say, deep dives, we're in truly powerful times. Once again, I started off with, you know, paying homage to Tina Turner. Phenomenal singer. And this is a reminder that you can use your art in a positive way to leave a powerful message for the whole of humanity. The power is with the artist. Also, I play this very important clip, which was just released, which if you haven't heard it, I'll play it one more time, which they're telling you what's coming. This was in Geneva yesterday, right? Listen, deep divers.
The end of COVID-19 as a global health emergency is not the end of COVID as a global health threat. Earlier this month, the Secretariat published the 4th edition of the Global Strategic Preparedness and Response Plan for COVID-19, which outlines critical actions for countries in 5 core areas. The threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains. And the threat of another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains. And pandemics are far from the only threat we face. In a world of overlapping and converging crises, an effective architecture for health emergency preparedness and response must address emergencies of all kinds. This year's high-level meeting on pandemic preparedness and response is a valuable opportunity for leaders to chart a clear path forward towards that future. We cannot kick this can down the road. If we do not make the changes that must be made, then who will? And if we do not make them now, and when? When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively, collectively, and equitably.
So when the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will. So like I say, pay very close attention because, you know, a lot of people have a very short memory, and you have to be prepared for what's coming because it's coming. And right now you want to be focusing on yourself. You want to be raising the frequency. You want to be letting go of fear. Nothing to be afraid of. Just everything to be prepared for. 5D music scene, appreciated. Rest in paradise, Tina. Shout out to Tina. The amazing Tina Turner. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, everybody loves a good Tina Turner song, and she's someone who really transcended music. You know, like I say, she sang Goldeneye, is that right? I think she sang Goldeneye. Was it her or Shirley Bassey, deep divers? Did she sing Goldeneye? One of the greatest Bond songs, Goldeneye, right? And you can't sing it any better than Tina Turner. You know, you can't sing that song, Goldeneye, better than Tina Turner. You know, two of the greatest Bond singers, Shirley Bassey, Diamonds Are Forever, Tina Turner, Goldfinger. Right? So, you know, we have to really remind ourselves that, you know, great singer. But this is all about celebrating someone's life. It's all about you realizing you're also the star. You're also the star in this. And right now you have to realize you are stars. And we're here to raise the frequency. So what we're going to do, we're going to raise the frequency again. We're going to elevate. Do you want to elevate? Or do you want the new 80 deep divers? Which one do you want? You want to elevate? Or you want the new 80? Which one do you want? Because we can elevate. We can do the Frank Bentley. Goldeneye was Tina Turner. Goldeneye was Tina Turner. Goldfinger was someone else, Shirley Bassey, right? Goldeneye, thank you. Goldeneye was Tina Turner. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Goldeneye. So, let's do the 80s, because this new 80s is crazy, right? Let's raise the frequency, deep divers. Let's go. Oh, you're only getting half of it right now, right? Astral Chief says elevate. Let's elevate then. Like I say, shout out to Astral Chief. You are definitely appreciated. Deep divers, make sure you smash that like button, share the video. Smash that like button, share the video. Powerful, powerful, powerful show already. This is for Astral Chef. Let's elevate.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got this whole view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments when was trapped in the basement, now the hard work is all taking me places. Water on bed like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh, I ain't make it this far for myself. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. I had to boss. I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. Ooh yeah. Why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't dim it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't simmer down. Ooh, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right. Yeah, I'm in my bag tonight. Yeah. Ooh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah. This the high life with a few. You can have it all, no need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate. Yeah.
We had to rise to the top to elevate. Deep divers, that's what it's always about. Reclaw M, you're appreciated. Shout out to you. Shout out to you and you and you. So like I say, deep divers, this is a powerful show right now. You're going to want to check out the new video I put out on how to become financially free standing next to a tree. And this is what we've got to remind ourselves of right now. You know, the shift that's happening is a shift which is really causing us all to wake up, to see that we all have to step up our game. We all have to level up. You know, life is all about moving to the next level. And you have to ask yourself, how am I moving to the next level of my own life? Financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of these things. Because you see, everything is upgrading and updating right now. And we have to make sure we're doing the same within ourselves. We're in a truly powerful time. We're in a time where we're remembering people like Tina Turner, great artists like Aretha Franklin, Bob Marley. You don't find these artists anymore. So what you're seeing, the reason why Tina Turner is a shock is because people know that you're not finding singers like this anymore around. A lot of these new singers are what I call microwavable. In other words, they're instant. They're not for the long term. It's just short term, one hit wonder. That's it. But people like the Beatles, all of these great singers, the Beatles, you know, their music stays longer. Michael Jackson, the music stays for a long time. So we have to remind ourselves we're all artists and we have to create something that stays for a long time. That's the biggest thing. But also, we talked about preparing ourselves for what's coming, because it is coming and you have to be ready for it. You know, you have to be ready for another pandemic. And you also have to be ready for the shift. You have to be ready to make sure you're in alignment with who you're really supposed to be. But like I say, deep divers, I just came here to give you that special message. I don't go live a lot, but anytime I do, the cat down the road is always pissing on my foot. Deep divers, I want to say a shout out to everyone who's been here. You are appreciated. And like I say, there's so much to dive into. Tomorrow, another new video. Infinite blessings, 333. You are appreciated. Another new video. We got a lot to talk about. And that's what we do. Like I say, much love to all of you deep divers. Keep raising the frequency. Keep raising the vibration, because that's what we're here to do. Smash that like button and share the video. Smash that like button and share the video. And this song is always good for raising the frequency. Let's go. Once again, smash that like button, share the video, and let's get inspired by Selma. Better. Let's go.
One day, I believe in the future. I believe in the past. I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass. All you need is a focus and a story to hold, and the faith that you can achieve what's inside your soul. Someday we'll make it on by. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get. Someday we'll make it on by. Someday. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get better. Know that you can make it. Hold it tight, cause they will try to take it. Keep it close, cause they will try to shake it. But whatever you do, don't let them break it. Cause this moment's just a new chance to take into your own hands and shape the life you see inside your dreams. Someday we'll make it on by. Someday. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get. Someday we'll make it on. Someday we'll make it. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get better. In your heart there lives a dream for your soul to master. From the moment that you breathe, get to chasing after, yeah. All that you want, all that you ever dreamed. You can make anything of this life. Someday we'll make it on by. Other days we only can try. Someday we only try. No matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get. Someday we'll make it on by. Someday. Other days we only can try. Other days, no matter what people say. No matter what they say, we gonna get. Someday we'll make it on by. Someday. Other days we only can try. Other days, no matter what people say. Either way, we're gonna get better. Someday we'll make it on by. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get. Someday we'll make it on by. Other days we only can try. Either way, no matter what people say, either way, we're gonna get better.
We're going to get better. Deep divers. One love to all of you. Like I say, we're raising the frequency. This was a powerful, powerful show. Once again, I'll be back. Check out that new video, how to become financially free, standing next to a tree. It's all about leveling up. One love to all of you. Let's go deep divers.